Mayor-elect London Breed, thanks for coming in.
Of course, thanks for having me.
When you walked through the doors of City Hall and came down the steps, and the first thing you said was, "My name is London Breed, and I'm soon going to be the mayor of San Francisco," what went through your mind?
I couldn't believe it, to tell you the truth. It just almost felt like a dream, and it's amazing, and I'm excited to be here.
You did a call out to your grandmother, Ms. Brown.
Yes, Ms. Brown. I'm sure she would have been happy.
What did you learn from her?
I learned from her that you take care of each other. She took care of the community. We didn't have much, but it was important that, for example, my grandmother would cook all the time, and people would come over and we would feed other people. And I'd always ask, "Mama, why are we giving away our food? We don't have much." And she would say, "Just be quiet. That's what you do for people." And that's what being a part of a community is about, is taking care of everyone who's in the community. And that's what she taught me. It's what you do.
You know, when living in public housing, you must see and hear and experience all kinds of things that most people don't. And I'm wondering, what did you take with you in terms of how that'll affect the way you approach issues?
What I take with me is the desire to make sure that even though I have been the exception coming out of that environment and even going to college and doing well in life, I don't want, I want this to be the norm.
So what's an example as mayor that you think you can do differently to make, a difference in people's lives that way?
One of the things that I want to do as mayor is provide paid internship opportunities for all of our high school students. And not necessarily that the city would pay for everything, but we have incredible companies here in the healthcare sector, in the tech sector, all these incredible industries right in the backyard of so many of these young people. And I want them to be exposed to what's possible in life at an early age. And part of that, too, is internship opportunities that are also paid, because we're talking about, in some instances, young people who come from single-family homes, who come from places where maybe their grandmothers are raising them. And I want to make sure that they're able to generate a little bit of money in the process so that they stay out of trouble, so that they don't do many of the things that sadly, my friends and family members did growing up, because, breaking in the car, selling drugs, doing things that would land you in juvenile hall were things that were just naturally a part of our environment. So they were easy to do, but they were consequences.
Homelessness, big issue. You know it. Voters have told you, I'm sure, time and again. Do you think the city is on the right track or the wrong track right now?
So I think that the city is somewhat on the right track. I think part of it is we have, systems in place to help address the issue. But the problem that we have are people who struggle with mental illness. And I think that's really why that's going to be my focus, is making changes to our laws and providing options for those who we can't get housed. Those who we can't, in some cases, we can get them housed, but we can't keep them housed. And so there's a different approach to this issue. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
One of the things you were clear about is housing. And you said it again on Wednesday afternoon, we don't build enough housing. It's very clear. There are things also that make it more expensive to build in San Francisco, and you know what they are: the cost and time of permitting, fees, review. I'm wondering, what would you be willing to do to speed up the construction of homes and bring down the costs?
I ultimately want to cut down the time to develop any new housing in half. I mean, especially when you talk about 100% affordable housing, and it takes years to build. Even when you have financing for a project, it should not be the case, and I am committed to analyzing the process and making significant changes so that there is a difference, because otherwise we are not going to get anywhere with housing production in this city.
Being mayor is it's a big job, it's a tough job, and I'm wondering, what do you feel like you need to learn in order to be successful as mayor?
I think I need to learn patience to be successful as mayor, because, unfortunately, it is the city. There's bureaucracy, there's process, there's layers. But I think that, unfortunately, the city has more layers of process and bureaucracy than we can stand. It is crippling us in our ability to be an effective city to deliver for our residents.
Why do you think you're impatient?
Well, it's just a natural part of my personality. If I see a pothole, for example, I want the pothole fixed like now. So, and if it's not fixed the next day, I'm wondering, why is it taking so long to fix the pothole? But we have so many challenges like that all over the city. So it's not as if someone's sitting around and not working. It's just, taking time to get to everything. It's a large city, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but we always got to, as far as I'm concerned, work at getting it done and work at progress, making progress for our residents.
One of the things you pushed for on the board was safe injection sites to get addicts off the street and get syringes off the streets. What are the obstacles to getting those sites open, including problems with the federal government, perhaps?
Many of the, for example, nonprofit organizations that we work with that provide services around detox and needle exchange, they receive state and sometimes federal funding, and there are certain laws that come with that funding. And so we are working to try and figure out what could potentially work, a pop-up site or some way in which we can protect those organizations and still host a site of this nature for the purposes of addressing this issue. What we're doing now clearly isn't working. Just cleaning it up and moving people around doesn't solve the problem. I think this could be a possible solution to that issue.
One other thing that has been a statewide issue, a national issue, and it's related to the Trump administration, is sanctuary city policies, sanctuary state policies. Are you comfortable with the policy that San Francisco has right now in terms of levels of cooperation between the sheriff and the jails and other law enforcement officials and the federal government? Are you comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable with the laws that we have now, and I think what we should do as a city is continue to protect all the residents who are a part of our city. And so I think in terms of the way that our laws exist, the goal is to treat our immigrant community the same as if they are a real part of our community, whether they're our citizen or not. And that's the whole point of Sanctuary City.
Could you see, as mayor, doing what Mayor Libby Schaaf did in Oakland, if you got word of an imminent ICE raid and standing up and warning the community about that?
I think I could, yes. And I've made that clear that what I will do as mayor is protect all of my residents, and I would do exactly what Mayor Schaaf did, and I applaud her for her efforts, and she's taken a lot of heat for that, and I will continue to be a supporter and an advocate for what is right as mayor of San Francisco.
One of the issues that's going to come before you before too long, I'm sure, is these scooters. I'm just curious, have you ever ridden one of those things?
I have, and I like the scooters, and I think they are a great alternative mode of transportation, just like bicycles. The city's growing, it's changing, but I don't like the fact that people are riding even their bicycles and scooters on the sidewalks, and so we need definitely enforcement. We need to make sure when they roll out again, there's appropriate regulations so that we all share the road in a fair and constructive way.
All right, Mayor-elect London Breed, I think I speak for all San Franciscans when I say good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.